Okay. Hello, everyone. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you through the basics of Edpuzzle. I will take you through how I used it last year a little bit. I'll show you kind of some of the features. And I think once you kind of see it, it's pretty self-explanatory. So can everybody hear me? Good? Okay. So to start, what was brought to my attention was if you are in the middle school or the high school, this session is really not for you. You don't have the pro version of this, so you have to be with Lake Drive or with the elementary school. If you are in the middle school or the high school, you are going to be using what's called Canvas Studio, which works pretty much the same way. But you can actually still use Edpuzzle, but you have limited features to it. So this should help those that are in the elementary and Lake Drive program. So I'm going to share my screen with you and take you through.
Okay.
So if you've never heard of what Edpuzzle is,
Yeah, that's good.
it is pretty much a way in which you can watch videos or have your students watch videos, and in the middle of the video, at the end of the video, you can have questions that are posed to them. You
Okay.
can give them ideas of what they should take notes on if they're watching the video.
Lesson plans.
If you're looking at multiple choice questions, it will grade it for you, and you can get an analysis of how they did at the end of your show or at the end of the video. And you can also ask them pre-response.
Yeah. I use my lesson plans from March, and I just changed the percentage accuracy down, like made it less.
Okay, so
And just copied, so they're working on those same goals, except
I think you can mute Samantha. Thank you.
are you in something now? Yes. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go to edpuzzle.com if you haven't done this already. I think for elementary and Lake Drive, you guys are using Clever. I wasn't really trained on how that's working with you, so if we can't log in today, that's something that I'll push in Nancy's direction. She'll be able to help you. But what I do is you go to I'm a Teacher, click on that. I usually sign in with Google, and you will get this type of screen when this comes up. Okay, so let me just get this out of the way. Awesome. All right, so first things first, when you go to your account, you may have some content here, you may not, depending on if you used it before. So let me go to my home, okay, and you can see that they have what's trending here, and something may pop up you need. Most things probably will be not of any interest at that given moment, okay? So the first thing you will
sound.
The first thing you're going to want to do is set up your classes. So all I did was I went up in the upper right-hand corner. If you look and you click on My Classes, that takes you here. Now, I have 3 forensics classes, an AP Environmental Science class, and an anatomy class from last year. Go ahead and I would rename them if they're a different period and remove students. But let's just add a new class for today. So I'm going to add a new class. Okay, call it class. You can put a description in if you want, and then you're going to probably want the classic. So you're going to create that. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to just at any time or ask me what I just did. Okay. So
You can come on in. We're going to be kind of like, are you going to make a lot of noise, okay?
let me see if I can start muting.
Yeah, are you going to make a lot of noise, you think? Yeah, then that's fine.
Give me 1 second.
Fixing those hanging things.
Okay, so that should be everybody muted, hopefully. All right, so once again, we went to My Classes. I add a new class. right here, and then you type in. I'm not going to do that again because I just did it. So here's our demo class. Okay, you can see we have no assignments. And so here's our students. You can do this one of two ways. I think the easiest way to do it is to give them the class code, tell them to log in using, if students have Clever, I'm not sure if the students have it, but they can just use their school Gmail. That's the best bet. Give them their class code and it will send it. You can also invite them and send out a mass email as well. So you can hit invite students, you can copy the link or you can share it via email. Either way works. I've used both in the past. They both work very, very well. Usually in person, I just throw it up on the board. We have computers, the kids sign in and I can at least see that they've logged in. Okay, so once again, demo class, hit the students button, invite students, or just give them the class code after they log into Edpuzzle. Okay, you should see if they're using their school, the Gmail for the school, their name should pre-populate. So they shouldn't even have to type in their name. It should give their last name, their first name, and the email, and then they're set in your class. If you have multiple different classes, you can just keep hitting add new class and invite new students in. Now, let's look at content, okay? The reason that Edpuzzle is so great is that you can take any video from YouTube, Khan Academy, as you see over here, National Geographic, pretty much any video that's online, you can put that into Edpuzzle and you can add questions as you move along with it. Okay, so let's go to YouTube. Okay, let's say you were doing something on Hamilton, right? Now, this is me just typing it in, and I could see what has been put into Edpuzzle already, all of these, right? So let's take this first one. Now, what's happening in here is this is the YouTube video, and what we're gonna do is as we play this, as teachers, as we play this, we may wanna stop it and ask a question. So I will,
because he's economic man, the money man.
So as you can see there, you have the video playing, right? Something is not looking right on my side. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Something is not, oh, here we go. Okay, so, sorry. We click on the video. Let me go back 1 second for you. We click on the video, and what we can do is we can add questions as this plays. So we hit edit the video, and now as this, see this word questions up here.
He is kind of the economic man, the money man.
So let's say at this point, you want to ask your class a question. You would hit multiple choice question. You would type in say, what did he do for the government, or what did he work for, whatever it may be. If he was in economics, defense, let's say, you can add more and more. You can add another choice. And when you hit save, what you will see is this little teardrop button. Okay, and that means at that moment in the video, at 55 seconds in, the video will automatically stop and it will ask the students that question and they will answer it. They will answer one of the two. Okay, let's say you made the question and you messed up. You can just hit this little pencil button. You can go in and fix it. Just make sure you hit save. Now we keep the video playing. Let's say further down, we want to ask another question. You can ask an open-ended question. And then when the students get to that point, It's not in the video, but I might as well just throw it out there, right? Hit save, and then at 2 minutes and 35 seconds into the video, it will stop and it will automatically ask the kids that question. Okay. Another feature. One other thing you could do is you could put in a note. And what happens here is if it's someone giving, let's say, a TED talk or a lecture, you may just write to your students, focus on when he talks about this, or focus on, or take notes on this portion, you know, and that just gives students, it will stop the video, it will tell students, you know, what you want them to do moving forward. So what we have here is we have 2 questions. We can obviously put questions. You could put multiple questions in. So let's go to this, okay? So at 55 seconds in, we ask, what did Hamilton do to the government? We can also add a second question that will show up. And we hit save. And what you will see here is at 55 seconds, we're now going to ask them 2 questions. We're going to ask them the first one. They will answer that. We'll then get the second question. The video will play forward. So you can do multiple questions at the same point. Anybody have any questions so far? Okay. So we put our questions in, and then you're going to go to the upper right-hand corner and you're going to hit finish. Okay. Now this has now become yours. Okay. Now, since I don't have any students in my class, I can't assign it. But what you would do is you would hit assign, and I'm going to go back to one of my courses from last year, and hopefully it is still open for me to show you what that assignment looks like. But once you hit finish, it brings you to this. You can see that we have questions being asked here. We have a question being asked here. And then you would be able to assign it, or you can actually go back in and edit it. So let me go to my classes really fast. Okay, so So here's a lecture that I did last year on the digestive system using PowerPoints, and I uploaded it into YouTube and then put it onto Edpuzzle. Okay. If I want to assign this, just like we did on that last page, I hit assign, and that brings me here. Now it's going to ask you what class you want to do it for. So let's say anatomy period 3. I'm going to assign it to everyone. I want it to start. You can have it start at 8 a.m. The default is it just opens up immediately, or at 12 a.m. on that day. So let's say we're going to have it open up at 12 a.m. We're going to have it due tomorrow at, let's say, 3 p.m. Okay. Now, the best feature here is that this little button right here, you can have closed captioning on, but the best feature is prevent skipping. That means when that's on, and let's say we assign this, when they go to play this video, they will not be able to just jump to the question and do it. So let's say student 1 did the assignment, student 2 totally forgot, and there's 3 minutes before this assignment is due. So he or she calls up student 1 and said, what's the answers? Well, if you click that they cannot skip, they will have to watch that whole first section before they get to those questions. And then they'll have to watch the whole rest of it. They can't just click on the questions and do them. That is totally up to you as the teacher if you want to have them able to skip. But, you know, I think that's a great feature to make sure that they watch it all the way through and they're paying attention. I will also say, let's see if the internet works with us today. So you see how I can't pull this forward because skipping has been turned off. All right, so they will have to watch that. The other thing that will happen is when they're taking this and they get to one of those questions, which bear with me because I'm gonna turn that off now. So let's say that we're gonna do the same class, we're gonna turn this off. We're gonna turn off prevent skipping. We're gonna assign that to this class. So this is what it would look like if you allow them to skip forward with the internet lagging. Okay, so I just jumped forward to that question. So you can see this is where the question shows up for the students. So as they're watching the video on the left-hand side, if a question, multiple choice, short answer, or even a note that you want them to look at, maybe something that you want them to pay attention to, it will show up on the right-hand side. Students can then go in, let's say they don't know the answer. They can then re-watch that section. They can also skip it for the time being. But if you, most of them will just re-watch it and it will reset to that section and you'll be able to re-watch it if you want to, okay? So the students have the ability to re-watch what they just listened to if they missed something, if they need to look back and kind of find out that answer, okay? Any questions at this point? Okay, so let's look at what the grade book looks like. All right, so I don't have any scores because this is from last year, but this you can use as your grade book, and it's pretty simple just to switch your grades over to PowerSchool, okay? Now there's no integration from Edpuzzle directly into PowerSchool to like push the grades over, but it gives it to you alphabetically, which is nice. And you will be able to see what their score was, will show up here, and it will also tell you how long it took them. So you can have students that, if it's a 5-minute video to watch, it could be 5 minutes. You may see students that took a half hour. That might give you a little insight into what's taking a student so long to complete the assignment. Maybe they're struggling with it, or maybe they're walking away from their computer as it plays, and then it's just sitting on the question for minutes on end before they come back to it. Okay, but this is what the grade book would look like. You can switch between your classes. Here's forensics period 2. Oh, I don't have anyone in there right now. But you'll be able to see all of their scores there. Okay, so as you go through, here is, let's go to content. So this is the main page under content. And over on the left-hand side, you can see that we have curriculum, Mountain Lakes High School. You can look at what other people have been doing. So we have Giselle and myself that primarily used it last year. But really what you're gonna wanna focus on is my content. So these are all the videos that I made or that I pulled off of YouTube, okay? Now, you can filter them and put them into folders. So let's say you have, or my anatomy class. I'm gonna put all of my anatomy videos in here so I know where they are. And even inside of here, you can make new folders to then put in there. Okay, you can add a new folder. Let's say this was for chapter 1. And now inside of anatomy, I have chapter 1 folder to put videos inside of. Okay. The last thing I will show you is how you can move it. Let's say you're on YouTube. All right, so let's go to YouTube. And let's say, you were perusing through YouTube and you came across a really good video that you wanted to use. Oh. Bear with me for a second. Okay. So you're going to use this video in Edpuzzle. So what you do is you just take the URL, copy that, go back into Edpuzzle, and you're going to paste that there. Now, this is exactly what we did before, only we searched through Edpuzzle for it. But what I just did was I went to YouTube. I came across this great video. So I said, okay, let me make sure I get this for an assignment. So I copied the URL, I go back to Edpuzzle, and I typed it into that search. I typed it right up here. And this is what I get, okay? Now, we can add questions to this. We go to questions again. We start playing this. I'm just going to fast forward. Okay. And then you would add your multiple choice questions and or add your open-ended or add a note. And it will start to make your questions. Okay, so we know that at 33 seconds in, it's going to stop the video and it's going to show the students a note or a question. And let's say I'm finished with this. So I'm going to ask them one question here and I would be able to assign it. I just don't have a class that I'm working in right now. Okay. Okay. So that is the basics behind really using Edpuzzle. Does anyone have any other questions?
Dave, I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you kind of coordinate this with Canvas? Is there a way that you could link, link this from Canvas? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, if we're told we're supposed to use Canvas as our main platform, how do we also incorporate this?
So, meaning how do you assign it through it?
Yeah, like I love the idea of having videos and adding questions in there. Like, how could we do that when the kids are accessing Canvas? Can they access this through Canvas, or they have to just go directly to Edpuzzle? Like, would they have to have both, or would it be in that Clever type thing?
Well, for elementary and Lake Drive, this whole Edpuzzle Pro is paid for.
Okay.
And for the high school and the middle school, you can use Canvas Studio, which does the exact same thing. So, but to answer your question, for the elementary school in Lake Drive, what I did was I would just, when you have your assignment, so that's a great point that I missed. So to put this into Canvas, what I would do is I would hit share assignment and it gives you your link right here. And then what I did last year was I would copy that link into Canvas and that would then shoot them right into Edpuzzle.
All right, so that link you could put into, like, you create an assignment in Canvas, you put that link in, and then the kids go on that assignment, and that's where it takes them to?
Correct.
Okay.
That's exactly what it will do, yeah. There
Right.
is a sync with Canvas, but that will not work unless you're in the elementary school or Lake Drive, which there's a lot of stuff going on with that right now. Nancy said there's a lot of stuff not crossing over. So what I would do and what I did last year was I would just put that link in Canvas for that daily assignment. And then, yeah, when they go into Canvas and they click that link, it shoots them right to Edpuzzle. They'll probably be logged in still because most kids don't log out. So they won't even have to do that. And then they just complete it. And then on your end, you'll be able to see it immediately how they did.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? You run through something again?
Dave, I'm in the high school, obviously, with you.
Okay.
And when I tried to use Edpuzzle last year, it said that I had to enter all of my students' emails individually. I had like 115, kids in a couple sections of foods class.
Right.
I mean, is there a way that you can just transfer your classes?
So what I would do is, can you guys still see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, right? So what I would do is I would hit add new class. And when you start your class,
Actually, I mean, I saw this last year and it said from like Google Classroom. I wasn't using Google Classroom. And as a matter of fact, Nancy Latimer told me not to because she said, don't add another platform. Don't add another.
right. Yeah, so what I did last year at the beginning of the year is when I started using Edpuzzle, I had everybody sign into Edpuzzle and I told them to put this class code in.
Okay.
So I don't send the emails out to them because that gets
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of work. But if you just have them sit down and do it, it didn't fail last year just to have them use that class code.
All right. So you create a class and then for each class you get a class code.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Lindsay Ice at 8 Lake Drive. So I teach in Ivy Hall preschool, and I put into, when I created my class, I said like pre-K content, like for math and literacy. But in like the home page, it gives me like trending in general education, and it's giving me like place value and law of demand. Do you know if there's a way to like, obviously that's content is not relevant to preschool. Is there a way to change what pops up at the home on the home page so it's more relevant to our students?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I think they just, I think
Wow, what's ever popular?
it may start to change the more that you use it. That might start to become more of the trending bit, but no. So for me, teaching science, I get mostly just trending in science. That's most
Okay.
stuff that I get, but it may start to turn over.
Okay.
Or change, but yeah, I don't really use that much, the whole trending stuff. I usually just type in to search what I'm looking for, or grab a URL and put it in there and then just start working on that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Just to clarify one other thing too, you don't have to make all these videos with questions. A lot of people have them made already for you. So let's say this person, Rita, has something on the Amoeba Sisters, let's say, right? What I can do is see how it has her name here. She has questions that are posed. I might not like those questions, right? But what I can do here is I can copy her entire assignment, or I can just go in and edit it. So let's say I hit edit. Right, when I go to edit, all of her questions are still in place, but I can go through and I can change them, and then it becomes mine. So let's say I don't like this question, right? Okay, so I delete that one question, and when I hit finish, it now becomes mine. So it's not like you're changing it on her end or whoever you take it from. It is now yours, and you can see the question stayed there. I just deleted one of those questions because I didn't like it. I can also add questions, and then I can assign it. All right, so I don't know if I made that clear before either, but there's a lot of assignments and a lot of videos that are out there already that are done already for you. And you can just use those or change them, edit them, or you can make brand new ones.
Does it automatically become yours and like retitle, or do you have to? Okay.
Once you hit edit,
Okay.
it'll be yours, and then you save it, and it'll be stored under your content.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Something you want me to go over again? Something that wasn't clear? Okay, so what I would say is the easiest method is create your classes. So under my classes, add a new class. You can easily delete classes. So let's say for the demo class, you wanted to get rid of it. You go down here and delete that class. and it will disappear from your sidebar. So add new class, invite your students. I would just give them the class code, tell them to log into Edpuzzle using their Gmail, or if the student's using Clever, I don't think they are, I'm not really sure about that whole mechanism. And then they should be able to appear. And then your class is set up and all you do is start adding content and assigning it. Okay? So that's all I have for you guys. If you have any questions that you want to stay on, by all means, feel free, or you can email me. I'm in the high school, dseca@mlschools.org. So I'm open to talk or chat about anything else. If not, have a great rest of the day and good luck with the start of school.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.